Well, hello there, and I do hope you're all well. Yes, well, the truth has come out now. Yes, the Bodge has been found to have broken the rules, broken the law and all that stuff and nonsense. And when it's found out he's been given a fixed penalty notice, the silence within 10 and 11 Downing Street was quite deafening, and it came to the back benches. We had one... Ruth Davidson saying he's got to go, and another Scottish Conservative doing his absolute level best to contort himself into all sorts of shapes into saying, well, no, he can't resign at this very moment because there's a war on the other side of the world, or there's a war in Ukraine. And then when asked, so you'll be supporting him at the next general election, he contorted himself into all sorts of shapes not to answer the question. So I think that's pretty damning whether he's going to get his support or not. But anyway, but one thing you can always gather, he's going to get his support from the absolute doily pops in the Tory safe seat. And another one was the man with the fantastic plumage on his head, Mark Fabricant. And it's going to be interesting to find out what excuse he's going to find to defend the Bodge. Well, let's just say he did not disappoint.
I think now the Prime Minister has got to think hard. I think he should certainly go and make a statement to the House of Commons on Tuesday. And I think he's got to apologise. Having said that, I don't think that at any time he thought that he was breaking the law. I think that at the time he thought, just like many teachers and nurses, who after a very, very long shift would tend to go back to the staff room and have a quiet drink, which is more or less what he has done. I don't know much about the birthday party to which you talked about. I wasn't invited. But
there you have it. Now they're going to blame the rules. They're going to throw doctors, nurses and teachers under the bus to try and save the Bodge. Now, when I saw this on Twitter, my first thought was, I'm going to have a look at the comments below, and it was a wash of doctors, nurses and teachers who found what he had to say incredibly insulting. There was the doctors and nurses saying, no, we didn't go back to the staff room after a 12-hour shift for a drink because we were too exhausted. We went home, and one nurse says, when I got home, straight into the bath, scrubbed myself thoroughly before I even went near my children. And a number of teachers said, I think you'll find, Mr. Fabricant, that the staff room was out of bounds and not open. So, incredibly insulting.
I don't think he thought he was breaking the law, but of course, that doesn't make any sort of excuse.
You said all those teachers and nurses who were going back to the staff room and having a drink. You know more than I do, because I haven't heard about this.
Yeah, you know what's going to come here. Well, yes, I've heard plenty of doctors, nurses and teachers in my constituents. They were having a jolly good knees up in the staff room, as if they're going to tell this fucking idiot.
Oh, well, I do know of some who did, and, it's quite natural. I'm not saying they were having a party. I'm not saying that...
No, I'm not saying that, because that little bit in his brain's thinking, you're making yourself look really, really silly now. You're now trying to throw the doctors and nurses, and what you're saying is quite insulting. Now you're trying to roll back. In other words, beep, 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 beep. This vehicle is reversing. What a cunt.
Boris Johnson was having a party, but
see, the difficulty...
I know
yes.
I know nurses who, and I don't think they were doing anything wrong.
Fine.
I mean, they'd work.
So if you're saying that the Bodge, doctors, nurses and teachers were doing anything wrong, weren't doing anything wrong, why does he need to apologise then? Why does he need to come back to Parliament and apologise then? As far as you're saying, he's done nothing wrong then.
Really hard on a long shift,
isn't the
and we'll go back to the staff room and have a drink.
There you go. That's That's the new rule now, that it's either going to be, well, we can't get rid of the bodge now because there's a war in Ukraine, or, well, these very draconian, inhumane rules were far too inhumane. So maybe we should blame the rules instead of the man who set the rules. Wow. This is how far we've fallen in the political world, isn't it? A man with a horrendous plumage on his head insulting doctors, nurses and teachers just to save his boss's skin. What a wanker. I shall leave the video here until the next time. I shall bid you farewell and take care.